coming to the Harvestworks Art and Technology Building. My name is Carol Parkinson. I'm the director of Harvestworks. And every year since 2011, we have had some kind of art and technology program here on the island. And the works are primarily selected from our Artists in Residence program, of which Jillian participated in last year. And just a bit about the piece. Total Eclipse and the Heart Jillian will talk about the work, and then will be followed by a screening of an updated version. It's an experimental video divided into 4 parts, reflecting the stages of a total solar eclipse, blending live action with AI-generated imagery based on the artist's own images. The film follows characters as they dream of the moon, wander into the wild, and vanish into oblivion during a cosmic event gone awry. A massive moon drifts through both interior and exterior spaces while asteroids float by and the sun continuously transforms into surreal, unfamiliar forms. So enjoy. And Jillian will tell us a bit about what was done.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for coming. I know it's really hot, really humid in here, so I will talk a lot. And the video is about 20 minutes. So, don't feel like you have to sit through it all. If it's like too much for you today, I get it. But if we all melt, it will actually be perfect, as you see in the story. Kind of makes sense. So I'm just going to say that this is a really recent work. I just finished it in 2025. In fact, it's still a little bit in progress. I've been showing an earlier version since May in here, and I've been working on it ever since. And this is the most updated version we're going to watch after this. But it's not the 4K version because I couldn't get the file to work this morning, so we're going to watch the HD version, just so you know. Everything is not as crisp as it could be. That's just probably going to bother me more than anyone else. So I've been making video for about 20 years, a little bit more than 20 years, and the reason I'm saying that is that I've always been manipulating video in different ways, and this project relies a lot on AI. But it's not very different, I'm realizing now, than anything I've made in the past 20 years. I'm always kind of shooting video, and the camera in a way is like the smallest footprint in a sense, because I'll shoot things and then I'll, really quickly kind of, usually, and then spend a year or years really carefully manipulating and, and working in a detailed way with that footage. And I have been doing that for a really long time. And in 2023, the first video I made is called Me and Billy Bob. And in that video, I put myself into scenes with Billy Bob Thornton, the actor, and pretended we were having a relationship. It took me 8 months to make that. It was, I can't remember how many minutes, 9 maybe. But it was like an early deep fake. So I'm thinking about it a lot now because of AI, because I'm working with AI. And I realized I could probably make that video now in 2 days. But I did not. So I'm always kind of tweaking. You're going to see a lot of manipulated video in this work. And I started making work that was about celebrity culture and extreme fandom, and then moved to fandom in horror, and then realized that the landscape is one of the most important elements in horror. So I started shooting in different landscapes all over, not really all over the world, but in many different locations. And then started working with the idea of folktales and landscapes and how folktales are related to that. And now I'm going back to horror and eco-horror, and that's kind of what's happening in this work, as you'll see, is that eco-horror is kind of defined as where the landscape itself, or nature, is the horror element rather than nature concealing the horror. And then just a little bit more about this piece. It's inspired by the eclipse from last year, April 8th, 2024. But I already knew I went to see the eclipse because I knew I was making this work. So the first eclipse we see is the eclipse I filmed in April 8th, 2024 in the Adirondacks in New York. The other eclipses are very crazy and artificial. But they are based on that eclipse, so they're versions that have been manipulated with AI and then brought back out into compositing and animation, and then brought back into AI, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of processing going on with different kinds of software and different kinds of commercial and open source software, different kinds of processes. And then the 4 sections that Carol mentioned, they're sort of like chapters. I've never worked like this before, but this is divided into 4 chapters based on the 4 stages of an eclipse. But they're very like loosely based on those stages, and they're more of a like poetic interpretation of those stages as the narrative plays out. And the story is, there is a story, but the story is very loose and ambiguous, and you can interpret it as you want. There are characters. Some of them are real, some of them are artificial. My daughter, who's here today, is in the video. in this video. She's one of the characters in here. Sorry to put you on the spot there. Can't help myself. And what else did I want to say? Can't remember, sorry, it's too hot. But maybe this is blissfully short because it's too hot and we want to watch the video hopefully. So, but let's watch it if that's all right. It's 21 minutes.
Jilly, can you just say
Thank you.
what you changed recently?
Oh, sure. Yeah, because you've seen the earlier version. Well, it's longer. It's 20 minutes instead of 15. And what I changed is I really went much more into the details, so it's a lot more finessed in terms of the characters. I am using AI, but it's not like a cop-out in this case. Like I'm really manipulating it each little scene. I always work in these kind of micro scenes, and each scene probably took like a few weeks. So all of the scenes that were there are still here, but they're much more like crafted in terms of like both the AI and the natural video and photography as well. So, and everything that is created through the use of AI, through the manipulation of AI, comes from something I shot. So there's animals, they come from photographs, the landscapes that they're in, those landscapes I shot, and the AI was used to kind of put them together and create the situation. Does that answer your question? Yeah, I think you'll see. Some things are subtle that have changed, and some things are really obvious. All right. Any other questions before I hit play? Sorry, I was going to say more, but it's just so hot, and I think we'll just go ahead. And then if you have questions afterwards, we can talk more.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I really got granular with the audio, so I'm very curious. Some of it NASA, some of it bird sounds, with some of it composed? Or?
Yeah, all of those. Some of it's field recordings in all of those locations. Some of it is NASA data sonifications. Some of it is composed by AI. Some of it was composed by AI and then manipulated by me, and vice versa. And some of it, there's piano. There's all kinds of things. Yeah, so it's a soundtrack that was composed for the whole piece.
Yeah, because for me the sonic landscape could actually be its own track.
Could be what?
Its own track as just a sonic, a piece.
Right.
And then, of course, coupled with visual, but the sonic track, all of a sudden I sort of was like, maybe it's because I've seen parts of it.
Yeah.
So I went, oh.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I've only made the soundtracks for the last 2 videos that I've worked on, and because I did a residency at Wave Farm, which, if any of you know, is in Akron, New York. It's a residency for radio and sound art, and I actually ended up playing. I had to do a radio program, and I played soundtracks from like 5 video works that I made, which felt very strange because I'd only associated them with the visuals, but it worked as like an audio, program. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that before that experience, but yeah. Anyone have any other questions? Very, very hot in here, I know. I'm sorry. I'm like pouring sweat. Thank you so much for coming and watching. This is the first time this version has shown, so thank you.